Cleopatra, the woman who outsmarted Rome, Cleopatra VII Philopator. Her name alone still conjures images of gold crowns, dramatic eyeliner, seduction, and scandal. For over 2,000 years, she's been remembered as a temptress, a femme fatale, a beautiful distraction that brought powerful men to ruin. But here's the truth history tried to bury. Cleopatra wasn't Rome's lover. She was Rome's political nightmare. She didn't rule with beauty, she ruled with intelligence, language, strategy, and timing. Tonight, we're peeling back the myths, the propaganda, and the Hollywood fantasy to uncover the real Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt, and the woman who nearly changed the course of Western civilization. By the time Cleopatra was born in 69 BCE, Egypt was no longer the unstoppable empire it once was. The pyramids were already ancient history. Egypt's power had faded, and Rome loomed large on the horizon, hungry, expanding, and ruthless. Cleopatra was born into the Ptolemaic dynasty, a Greek ruling family descended from one of Alexander the Great's generals. They ruled Egypt for nearly 300 years, but here's the twist. They ruled Egyptians, without being Egyptian. Most Ptolemaic rulers refused to learn the Egyptian language or customs. Cleopatra would become the first of her dynasty to do both. This alone made her dangerous. Cleopatra wasn't raised to be a decoration. She was educated in philosophy, mathematics, astronomy, medicine, rhetoric, politics, and most importantly, languages. Ancient sources credit her with speaking up to 9 languages, including Egyptian, Greek, Latin, Hebrew, Arabic, and more. That meant something radical. Cleopatra could speak directly to her people, to foreign diplomats, and to Rome, without translators. Knowledge was her weapon. At just 18 years old, Cleopatra became co-ruler of Egypt with her younger brother, Ptolemy III, who was only 10. As tradition demanded, they were married. But this was politics, not romance. Very quickly, Cleopatra realized something terrifying. Her brother's advisors were plotting against her. Within a year, Cleopatra was stripped of power, forced into exile, declared an enemy of the state. Egypt's queen was now a fugitive, and Rome was watching. Rome's most powerful man, Julius Caesar, arrived in Alexandria to settle Egypt's civil war. Cleopatra knew this was her moment. But there was a problem. Her enemies controlled the palace. Approaching Caesar openly would mean death. So Cleopatra did something legendary. According to ancient historians, she had herself smuggled into Caesar's chambers, hidden inside a rolled carpet, or possibly a linen sack. When the bundle was unrolled, out stepped Cleopatra. Not begging, not pleading, but negotiating. That night didn't mark the start of a love affair. It marked the return of a queen. Cleopatra and Caesar formed an alliance that shocked the ancient world. With Roman backing, Cleopatra defeated her rivals. Her brother drowned in the Nile while fleeing battle. She reclaimed her throne. Soon after, she gave birth to a son, Caesarion, believed to be Caesar's child. Cleopatra didn't just want protection. She wanted legitimacy. She traveled to Rome, living in Caesar's villa like a visiting monarch, not a mistress. Rome hated it. When Julius Caesar was assassinated in 44 BCE, Cleopatra knew one thing: Rome was no longer safe. She returned to Egypt and began preparing for the next power struggle. After Caesar's death, Rome split between 3 men. One of them was Mark Antony, a brilliant general and political rival to Caesar's heir, Octavian. Antony summoned Cleopatra, expecting submission. Instead, she arrived by golden barge, dressed as the goddess Isis. This was theater, and Antony fell for it, politically and personally. Their alliance produced military support, wealth, territory, and 3 children. Together, Antony and Cleopatra dared to imagine something unthinkable: a new empire. Rome and Egypt united, ruled from the east. Rome would never forgive that. Octavian knew he couldn't defeat Cleopatra with armies alone, so he attacked her reputation. He painted her as a foreign witch, a seductress, a corrupter of Roman men. This is where the Cleopatra myth was born. In 31 BCE, Octavian's forces defeated Antony and Cleopatra at the Battle of Actium. Their power collapsed. Antony, believing Cleopatra dead, took his own life. Cleopatra was captured, but she refused to be paraded through Rome in chains. Cleopatra chose death on her own terms. Legend says she used an asp, a sacred Egyptian cobra. Whether it was poison, a snake, or something else, we may never know. But we do know this: Cleopatra died as a pharaoh, not a prisoner. With her death, Egypt became a Roman province, and the ancient world ended. Cleopatra wasn't history's greatest beauty. She was history's greatest strategist misremembered. Her enemies wrote her story, and they turned a queen into a caricature. But today, we know better. Cleopatra spoke for her people, defied Rome, ruled in a man's world, and nearly won. She wasn't a footnote in Roman history, she was its final challenge.